Three things about this week. One, it is a phenomenal week to begin anything you want to begin. Two, whatever it is you begin is imbued with auspiciousness. Three, we have to be very specific about the things that we want to begin because we are up against some obstacles, but those obstacles are going to help us to define whatever it is we value and we need to prioritize. This week is about being very intentional with what we begin and knowing that it is fortified in such phenomenal goodness. Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, your astro bestie, Chani Nicholas. In this episode, we are talking about the week of June 23rd. This is one of my favorite astrological weeks of the year. And it is not happening in a world that is increasingly more complicated and where we find ourselves up against some massive obstacles. I am obviously recording this in the past, but I'm in June of 2025 with you. So I'm not too far behind because I got behind. Anyways, happy belated solstice. I just wanted to say, if you didn't notice, we have 7 new sleep stories in the Chani app. You just have to go to the Listen tab, and there you will find a journey to the temple of Uranus, a journey to the temple of Neptune, a journey to the temple of Pluto, a journey to the temple of Chiron, a journey to the temple of Lilith, a journey to the temple to the North Node and to the South Node. That makes 7. They're there for you. We hope they help you to rest deeply, feel so refreshed in the morning, and we hope that they're healing. I did a lot of invitation to doing some healing dream work in many of them, so I hope you feel it. Enjoy. This week's astrology, we're talking about Tuesday, the 24th of June, and Wednesday, the 25th of June, are 2 days back to back that are so good for planting the seeds of what we want to grow into. So I want you to think about what you're growing yourself into. You know, there's the things that we want to manifest, and then we can take actions towards manifesting them, and we can do all the other things that we can do. And then there's the growing ourself into the person that is very comfortable walking into that reality. I want us to think about how we are growing ourselves magnanimously. I want us to think about how we are growing ourselves in terms of our generosity. I want us to think about how we're growing ourselves in terms of what we feel we have capacity for. I want us to think about how we can really grow ourselves into a person that is not threatened by the tactics of scarcity mindset. I want us to think about how we can grow ourselves into the people that are like, no, it's about abundance. There's so much abundance for us to tap into. Nature is so abundant. We are the only creatures on this planet that try to extract everything we can from every single source of life and energy that we get our little hands on. Obviously not all of us, but you know the people that do that. And the systems that we live within do that. And then they extract from us, and then we are dehumanized, and then we are primed to dehumanize other people. And the astrology that I'm talking about that is so good is happening in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is the direct opposite of that. Cancer is like, no, we do not extract from all life. We actually become the bearers of life. We become the caretakers of life. We become the force of protection that life requires. We become the parents of new little life that's trying to come forth. We become the adults in the room that are like, no, you don't get to do that because that would be harmful to all. And our job is to protect everybody here. So the exact astrology that's happening in Cancer is the fact that Jupiter, planet of abundance and the protection that comes when we think abundantly, when we act from a place of abundance, when we act from a place of generosity, Jupiter is in Cancer, the sign of its exaltation. And the sign of its exaltation is really important because it signals a return to faith. It signals a time where we're like, no, I believe in this thing. Maybe the last year and many decades and centuries even have been really hard and have stripped us of our ability to really feel like we can believe in something. But Jupiter's entrance into Cancer, started on June 9th, is a signal of like, I believe in this thing. And the more I move towards it, the more I build a resolve of belief in it, and the more good things occur. The more I'm fortified by my belief and my faith in this thing. And I know hope and faith are hard to come by, and I also know that they are something we have to practice. They're something that we have to have like a leap towards. And I know that when Jupiter is in Cancer, aka the next 12 months, it signals a time where there is a return. There's a return of our faith. There's a return of our belief in something, and there's a return of bonding with each other. Jupiter was just in Gemini for a year, and Gemini is hilarious, gives us great memes, is really curious, gives us great reporting, but it also is fractured. It's a lot of little different things scattered about. It's not that the sign itself is surfacey, but it wants to understand a great many things, and it's very intellectual, and it can put things into little silos. Cancer is very different than that. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is about, again, conception. It is about growing life. It is about the people. It is a feeling, and it is here to initiate feeling. It is a planet, a sign that bonds us. So when Jupiter is in Cancer, a sign of bonding, and Jupiter is a planet that wants to grow things and make more out of them, then there's more bonding. There's a growth of a feeling of kinship, of like, hey, wait a minute. If they're doing that to you over there, that's not okay. And I should just, say something about it and do something about it because that's not okay. But also, they're going to do that to us over here. If they're doing that to us over here, they're going to do it to you over there. None of us are safe until all of us are safe. We create the most abundance when everybody has access to the resources they need. That's just math, people. You could say it's also just science, but I'm an astrologer, so you might not believe me. Anywho, the thing about this week's astrology, Tuesday, the 24th of June, Wednesday, the 25th of June, is that Jupiter and the sun are coming together to start a new Jupiter cycle. It's kind of like a new moon. That happens on the 24th of June. Then on the 25th of June, there is an actual new moon in Cancer with Jupiter right there. So basically between the 24th and the 25th, the sun, the moon, and Jupiter are all coming together for a new beginning. And that new beginning is a seed. We do not eat the fruit the same day we plant the seed. We are not expecting to see everything be amazing this week, although fingers crossed, it is. But what we're doing is we're planting a seed that will help us further down the road. We're planting the seed of our own growth. We're planting the seed of care. We're planting the seed of connectivity. And we're planting the seed of something, anything really, that is imbued with this auspicious kind of moment. So you can use this astrology for anything. And I also want you to use it to understand, to look at the world, to see, to search for, to seek out all the ways that people are like, no more separating us. We're in this together. The more you separate us, the more you try to separate us, the more we realize that we are bound by the same things. I'm not saying we're all going to hold hands in kumbaya this week or even in the next 100 years. I'm not, humans are complex. But I'm saying there's an awakening here. And since June 9th, I feel like there has been a swell, we could say like a tidal wave of demanding that we care enough to protect each other because there's no difference between us. And we know that. And again, the more separation, the more war, the more violence that is inflicted upon us and our communities and the world at large, our communities across the globe, the more we see like, oh, that's one tactic. That is one thing. That is authoritarianism. And in astrology, that right now, my friends, is Saturn in Aries. I'm sorry to say it, but it is. And Saturn in Aries is squaring all this really great stuff in Cancer. And that's what we have to work with. So a part of me, when I looked at this astrology in the year, was like, well, that's a fucking bummer. Like, that's a fly in the ointment. Like, we finally get this amazing astrology and Saturn is there as like an overlord to everything. Like, why would that be? And yes, we could stay with that soundtrack, if you will. But I want to also offer this. This is the moment. This is the thing. We are here in this really tight squeeze. That's what a square from Saturn feels like. It feels like I'm being pinched. I'm being backed into a corner and I have no other choice but to work with what I've got. I don't have a million choices. I only have these few. And so Saturn in Aries, or a square from Saturn, especially in Aries, is going to have our backs up. It's going to feel like a military parade. It's going to look like something that is threatening because Aries is the sign of aggression and war and conflict. And Saturn does the worst there, or it's one of the signs it does the worst in. And it's going to do the worst in an Aries kind of style, which if Aries is distorted, it's going to be harsh and it's going to be possibly really harmful, because it's a sign that's ruled by Mars. Anywho, Saturn in Aries right now has the superior position. So it's forcing us to boil everything down. It's forcing us to be like, okay, we've got this really great moment. Jupiter in Cancer, a new moon in Cancer with Jupiter there during Jupiter's cazimi. Like, it's so special. But it's forcing us and it's limiting us and it's saying, what do you really care about? What is worth putting everything on the line for? What do you need to center? What is a priority? What is a building block for all things in your life? That's what I want you to work with this week. It's not an anything goes type of moment, not in world history, not in the astrology. But that does not take away from how special the astrology of the 24th and the 25th are. Trust me when I say whatever it is you choose, and I want you to consciously choose, whatever it is you choose to begin this week, especially on those days, is imbued and fortified with such beauty. Now, of course, you've got to do things to like make it happen. But those are the days you want to send the emails, you want to start the conversation, you want to write down your intentions, you want to take some risks, you want to show people you care, you want to show yourself you care, you want to take such good care of yourself. Despite what's happening, we still need to sleep and eat and drink and lots of water and all the hydration and all the things so that we can show up to the moment as resourced as possible. So what would caring for yourself to the nth degree look like? What would it feel like? How would you show up if when you showed up, you were like, I'm loved, I'm resourced, I'm cared for. I am not going to dehumanize myself by running myself ragged, and I'm not going to dehumanize other people by pretending like everyone just needs to take care of themselves. I'm going to do both. I'm going to take care of self and I'm going to take care of others. And I'm going to learn where that Venn diagram is. I'm going to learn where the crossroads of those two things and those two ideologies meet. Because I know I need both. I need both. So start the thing this week. Get the ball rolling. It's not going to be everything, but I want you to use this astrology to plant seeds of something special and something fortuitous and something just full of so much abundance, and trust that it's going to come through because you're going to take action, because you're going to take steps, because you're going to move towards it, but also because you're going to believe in, even in these severe conditions, even in this Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries moment of harshness, we're going to believe that the best thing can come from this. I mean, I don't know what else to do, A of all, but that's what the astrology is saying. The astrology is saying, yep, very harsh conditions, lots of instability, lots of foes and lots of forces that do not have our best interest at heart at all. And yet, there is something so auspicious, so lucky, so good being planted here. And it is about care. And it is about an abundance that comes from that place of wanting to protect what is vulnerable. Okay, so that's how we're going to really focus this week. We're going to focus on the 24th and the 25th. We're going to focus on the part of our chart that contains Cancer. Go listen to your reading this week. That part of your chart, aka that part of your life, is what is receiving these blessings. And they are blessings, let me tell you. Now, the rest of the week, the rest of the rundown is this. On Monday, the sun squares Neptune. So things might feel a little fuzzy, a little hazy. That's okay. We're going to let ourselves imagine greater possibilities, let ourselves, putter around, let ourselves be distracted, and then come back to focus. Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to plant seeds of intention. We're going to write things down. We're going to manifest. We're going to take some actions towards our biggest goals and dreams. And we're going to do the internal work that we need to do to make sure we are believing in the fact that these dreams that we have within us are totally possible. If we look at the world, we'll be like, oh no, that'll never happen. Don't look out there for what's possible in you and in your life. Look in here, take some actions, take some moments, take some time to get clear about your next intention, and then go forth. And I really do mean go forth, because on Thursday, the sun, and therefore the moon has also just done this, makes a sextile with Mars. And that's like a real get up and go, va-va-voom, energetic day. So Thursday is also a great day to take action towards this dream or towards this goal that you have set on Tuesday and on Wednesday. It's also a really good day for very innovative conversations as Mercury makes a sextile to Uranus. And then Mercury moves into Leo, where it has some more flamboyant, dramatic conversations. Right away, it makes a trine to Saturn and a trine to Neptune. So over the course of Friday and Saturday, we have these conversations that are really exciting. And they're also really good for making plans. And they're also really good for thinking creatively and thinking outside the box. And then on Sunday, Mercury makes an opposition with Pluto. And that is a very deep and cathartic conversation. It helps us get to the bottom of something really important. All right, y'all, I wanted to answer a little question. I get this question a lot. It's a really important question. Someone wants to know what they can expect when they have a lot of planets in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is one of those houses in the chart that is just out of view. It's just out of hearing range. It's just beyond your ability to perceive it. So it's a house of great mystery. It's also a house that can bite us in the ass. Do you know what I'm saying? If I can't see you coming, then you can do a lot of damage. And it doesn't mean that it's only bad, but it does mean that it's about the part of me that I can't quite get my own conscious mind wrapped around, which is important because as human beings, we want to be able to put everything in the light and understand it with our conscious awareness. And there are aspects of the world, of self, of this existence that are just mysterious. And that's a part of what the 12th house deals with. We want to think about it like this. When we deny our shadow side, when we deny the part of us that is repugnant, when we deny the part of us that is distasteful, that is uncouth, that is unsocialized or socially unacceptable in some way, when we do things and we're like, oh God, I am now in a shame spiral about having done that, whether or not we should be, that reaction to self, to want to push it away, to want to shun it, or to feel like that's the only option is to shun that part of self. That's a part of the more mysterious or unknown part of self that has emerged into conscious awareness, but it's from a source that we might not know a lot about. But the source of that is to our ego mind or to our conscious awareness can be like something that looks repugnant. But it's actually connected to our life force and to our creativity, to our wildness, to our feralness, to our untamedness. And we need to understand it, or we need to at least honor it if we want to be connected to our creative power and to our genius. So when we do work in the 12th house, or when we have a lot of planets in the 12th house, one part of this is to be introspective. It's really helpful if you have planets in the 12th house to honor the part of you that needs alone time, that needs some introspection. I always think of I think of famous people's charts sometimes because they're really good examples of what to do. And if we take Obama's chart, Obama is a Leo, very Leo vibes, is always giving us Leo with that grin and that, all the things, all the charisma. But his Leo sun is in the 7th house of relationships. So we experience him via a lot of relationships. Like for one, Michelle, like there's that idea of him being a partner to a lot of people. And it also gives us his ascendant, which is Aquarius. His Aquarius ascendant is ruled by Saturn. Now, Saturn becomes one of the most important planets in his chart because it's the planet that steers the direction of his life. Now, this is a very, 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 very famous public figure, right? Yes. But the ruler of his ascendant, AKA where his life needs to be steered, is in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is also a place of enemies, unknown enemies, people that want to take us down. Then sometimes people is us. Sometimes it's about our own self-sabotaging behaviors. And we can say that there's a lot to be said about the people that, had it out for him, have it out for him, or still talking about him. Like all of the white supremacy that was evoked. I think that's the right way to say that, is that came forth because of his position of power and leadership. And on a very personal note, that man likes to go away for hours in a writing cave. Like he likes to have a room of his own so that he can be sequestered and he can write or read for hours at a time, all by himself. He likes to have time to go away and think. And that is very much the 12th house. If you have important placements in the 12th house, you need to go away and have some solitude. Now, I also know a lot of people with important placements in the 12th house that work in institutions, because this is also a part of the chart where we lock people up and throw them away. Maybe that's ourselves, maybe that's an experience we've had of family members, etc. But it is a signature oftentimes of people that work in systems of incarceration, or with folks that are incarcerated or are formerly incarcerated. And all of the injustice and harm that's done through the systems of our world. Oftentimes people with important 12th house placements will do that kind of work because it calls to them. It is about who's confined. Sometimes it's about us wanting to have some solitude, have some time out, have some spaces of reprieve. And then sometimes it's about us working with people that have been shut out of public life or condemned in some way. It's also a really good placement for people that want to do healing work or help other people with their own self-undoing, help ourselves with our own self-undoing, help other people with their own self-undoing. It's really good, again, for writers, for academics, for people that need time to sit and study. It's great for nurses, or I often see people with a heavy 12th house placement want to tend to the suffering of others. This is one of the things. It is about public service in some way, or it's about being of service in some way. If you have, especially the sun or the moon or the ruler of your ascendant, your life needs to be about something more than you. So you need to be of service to something greater than you if you have a 12th house placement. And that, especially an important placement there. And that is how you feel like you're living your life. And it's on purpose, and it's of purpose, and it's full of purpose. It's like you're, okay, it's not sacrificing the self, although for some people that's how it turns out. But it is about sacrificing your ego-driven desires for something bigger than you. And that's how you get to real satisfaction with hefty 12th house placements. Okay, y'all, that's it. That's the episode. That's the reading. That's the week of June 23rd. Let us do gorgeous things with it. Let us not expect everything to be made obvious this week. Let's believe that when we plant the seed deep in the dark, generative, gorgeous earth, that we need to have faith. We need to have water. We need to have sunlight. We need to have nutrients, and we need to have faith that the thing is taking shape and the thing is taking root. And then we're going to take action to make sure that happens. And when we start to see results, when we start to see proof that something's happening, we're going to be really encouraging of it. Okay, come back next week. We're going to talk about the fact that Venus and Uranus are going to meet up right before both Venus and Uranus move into Gemini. I'm sorry to say that next week is another, moment on the precipice of a giant change. On the 7th of July, Uranus changes signs. It is definitely a mark of more chaos to come. So it makes this week all the more important. It makes the care that we demonstrate and we put into action right now all the more important. I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. Share this with a friend if you found it helpful. I will see you soon. Bye.